Welcome to Live at Lunch. You're listening to Vivian Evans, and I'm sharing with you a Google tool today called Google Calendar. And it's a tool that you find if you go to google.com and look for the 9 squares in the top right-hand corner, and you look for the calendar. So let's have a look at it in real time. So if I go to my web browser, I'm actually on Google, okay, and then up near the top in the right-hand side, now you do need to be signed in, you have the Google Apps little block. So if we click on that, you get a whole lot of options. Now, a few weeks ago, we went to Drive and looked at surveys or a survey tool called Google Forms within Drive. But today we're going to look at calendar. And if you don't see it on the top 9, you may have to click on more and look through further detail for that. So let's go to Google Calendar. Now you simply need to be, if you've got a Gmail address, you'll automatically have this as part of your suite. So if you join Google on any program within the Google suite, you should have a connection to a Google Calendar. Now, I use this on a daily basis, and I find it saves me from manoeuvring around or carrying a diary and filling up my handbag. And it's on the go. My calendar is always with me because my phone's with me. So at the moment, I'm demonstrating the computer screen. So it's interchangeable. Once you've got Google, you can download apps to your various devices, whether it be in the iPhone range or iPad, or whether you have an Android phone or a tablet, you can use this across all your platforms. Now, so there's lots of different ways that you can see. So let me give you a bit of a run through of the various ways that you can see and look at Google, your Google Calendar. So we're looking at mine, and it's got lots of colours. And first of all, what you see is that the red line shows what time it is right now. So I actually did an earlier recording at Live at Lunch, but I'm trying to bring one together that's a little bit closer and shorter for the recording. So here we can see a red line, and everything past the red line's paler than what's moving forward. Just to give you a bit of an impression, there's the red, and once past it's turned to a paler colour. It is possible to change this, and we'll look at that later. Now you can view as a week. You can look at it as a day. You can look at it as a month, or in fact you can even see it as a year, or 4 days, which is probably an easier panel to read with. On my phone, you can go to 3 days. So, and it looks very similar to almost the same format on the phone. Now, the other angle that you have is that you can look at, on the left-hand side, you can hide the information on the left, or you can click it again and open it up. And then there's lots of options. So you quickly can look through a month this way for a date and still keep your calendar happening for what you want. Okay, now whenever you want to, say if you move forward in the calendar, if you wanted to get back to where's today, you can quickly click on today. I find this really useful, and I seem to click it a lot. So that's that part. So it's the way you look at it. The other things you can do is look at different calendars. So you can add on calendars, or you can click on a task and have your task list up. You could have a birthday calendar happening. You can take off different calendars. We're not quite seeing it here because I'm not seeing any of those here on this week. But if we have a look, if I move quickly to, say, December and around Christmas, we've got the holidays in Australia happening. They're the dark green. And if I untick it, we don't see it, and I can easily put it back. So depending on the view of what you want to see at any one time, that can work. Okay, so if I untick the tasks, hide this, we're getting a clearer view of the week. And let's head to today. And right, I want to add an event. All I need to do is to click in the bottom right-hand corner where there's the button and create a title or an event. So I'm going to look at adding here, let's say coffee with Barbara. She's a good, and Ross, good coffee mates of mine, and I'm going to choose the date. So let's put it for next Monday, and usually our slot is 9 o'clock. So we can get on there, and so I might spend an hour. It's a bit of a meeting, okay? So that's what I need to do there. I can put the location. Okay, and it started to, you can see I'm spelling it wrong. There we go. So here we go. So we've got the cafe. So it's using Google Maps, so it's quite powerful. It's probably using information that I've been before as well. Now I can give myself notification beforehand, so it'll come up as a bit of a reminder on my computer beforehand. So if I'm working in my office, now I can choose the colour of what the event is. So let's go with a brighter blue, and I could choose which calendar. So if I was doing an event, I'm hosting different calendars for the region in Coonabarabran, I could actually put the event on there, but this is my event, so I'll keep it on mine. So you can have multiple calendars that could be public for some and private for others. With this here, you can put whether you're busy or free. So I'm going to put busy. Default visibility is whether the public can see this calendar or private. I'm setting it to default and leaving it that. My calendar is private, and there's a bit of a question as to, you know, that little question shows and explains some bits. So you could have reflect on the weekend's event. Could be what you're having your meeting about. You could have an agenda in there. You can do quite a lot. You could have links, all sorts, attachments, quite a bit of information to go with as to what you're doing. So I'm just putting a very simple event. Now I could add guests. So I could invite, if you have connections, particularly with people, you could have, I could have Barbara on my program, and so I could invite her so it'd come up on her calendar. So there's lots of other ways you could have it that people can invite others. So there's lots and lots of potential, just showing you this simple way. So if I save that, it then comes up, and because it was on Monday, let's change to the date. There it is there. It's that blue one that we had. There was a question in the live event about this layering. So the layering happens when you've got something that's coinciding. So I could simply change and move that so I don't have a double up, or it mightn't matter that you've got a double up. So these red ones here are room bookings, and I'm actually away. So that's okay, but I've got them red. I've chosen to have them stand out. So yeah, so if we head back to today, right. So the other thing is you can edit. Now here's another example that I'll put in. I'm doing lots of coffees with Barbara and there is, this picture came up automatically. So Google's got a bit of a tricky thing where they've picked up coffee and they've added an image. If it's at a location, they might put in a map. So that's where, now I want to delete this maybe, okay, or I wanted to change it. So I could edit it here with the pencil icon, and I could delete it. So if I click edit, it comes up with that same screen we saw before, and I could make a change. I could change the time, or I can close that, and let's do it again. So I can go to that and say if I want to delete it, because this was just a made up event, and there it is, it's gone. If I wanted to extend a time, I've got an evening event, it's actually really going to probably about 8 or maybe even 9 o'clock. I can drag it out, and you can see it's telling me whether I've saved things. The other option is I can, as you saw before, I can move a slot. I can even move it across a day. So that's a possibility. And I can also, yeah, so there's a lot of manipulation that's quite easy. So there's often with computers, there's always a few ways that you can do things. So it can get confusing, but if you can just do, there's some simple things. So I've said that you could add an event by the plus. The other way is you can simply add on the time slot and do something really quickly. So relax with a massage. Oh, look, there we go. That'd be nice to treat myself. Okay, so there, let's just check what that, yep, it's coming up. It's an event. I can take that off, I think. So anyway, I'm going to press save. There we go. So simple as that. And okay, now another thing that you can do is to create an event that happens regularly. So say if I want to have have a massage once a month. So if I click on that, oh, and look at the lovely icon. We have the incense and the massage oil. Clever Google graphics. All right, so I'm going to click on here and see how it says doesn't repeat. So if I wanted to repeat, if it was a regular one, monthly on the 4th Saturday, we've got annually, so it could be once a year, it could be weekly. So say if I wanted to do it the monthly on the 4th Saturday, I'd have a massage and I could put in the contact details and all sorts of things in there. If it was an all-day event, so say if it was all day and we called it a massage workshop, and we press save, it then appears at the top in the section, so not actually with a time zone. So that's a possibility. All right, so let's, we're going to edit this. And the other thing is that you can do is, because we've got, no, I might just delete that. So we click in there. Now, because it's a series, it could be that I only delete this one workshop because the other 4th of the month, Saturday of the month, I can go to, but it's just this one. I can then remove that event. If I want it to be that I'm not going to go to any more massage workshops, then I would do this and all the following, or all of them. So it is possible I could have gone to 2 massage workshops and then decided, no, I've got other commitments, and then cancel it. So lots of different ways to edit. So just to not confuse me in the future, I'm going to go all events and go, okay. All right. So that's quite a mix of adding. So we've looked at how you can view it. We've looked at how you can add and edit calendar events. Now, another angle that you can do is to have, when I'm having meetings, and I've been doing deep work, you might have noticed I've had deep work slotted in for 2 hours where I'm trying to practice focusing and not being distracted. So phones off, computers off the internet, and just working on whatever the project I'm on. So in that situation, I can, I want to have a meeting with someone, right? And so let's have a look at, in deep work, part of the strategy is that you also you reduce the shallows, so become more efficient and less time wasting on the nitty gritty stuff like planning meetings. So my business requires lots of meeting times, so, and arrangements and collaborating with different people. So I can actually choose to say, right, I'd like a meeting with someone between Monday or Tuesday of next week. I'm on the road at the rest of it, so I'm not going to show them those days. So I can use a tool on my computer. Now, I have a Mac, and so for a Mac computer to take a screenshot, I can use Shift, Command, and the number 4. So I'm going to press that, and my mouse turns into a little hairpin device. So if I set the times and the days and put out to the time that I'm prepared to meet, so say 6 o'clock, and connect, and I can click, and that takes an image for me that I can then put on an email. If you haven't got a Mac and you've got a personal computer, a PC, so you use the whole Windows suite, etc., you can use a great little tool called the Snippet tool, SNIPPET. And if you haven't found it yet, go for it. It is the most awesome little tool. You will find it in your start menu. So that's the Snippet tool, and it will take a screenshot of whatever grab you want. So what a great way. You've got a quick way to share what's coming up in the week that you want a meeting, and say, choose a time that fits around what I'm already scheduled for. So that's a handy strategy that I've been using of late. You can get more involved with Google Calendar, but in terms of adding calendars, right, so that you could, and I'll just show you very briefly without going too far. You can add a new calendar. And you can create a new calendar, and so you can see lots of ones that I've had in the past. Now, I just demonstrated in that about a guiding region calendar with a person. Kim was on the live event, and we set up one, and I just typed in the name and the description and the time zone of what there is. You can do all sorts of, invitations. You can make it available to the public. We'll make all events visible to the world, including via Google search. Are you sure? So if I went okay, then you can make it available. So you can actually choose to see only the free, busy, and hide. So if you had your own personal calendar, I was sharing just a moment ago about how you have the snipping my calendar. You could actually have it that you make your calendar public, but you only see when you're free and when you're busy. So not who I'm connecting with. So that's a handy way of doing it, that you might do it for a business. Okay, so you could say, check out my calendar. You could block out when you're free, block in all the busy times that you don't want to meet and connect. So you might rule out all your weekends. You might rule out after 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock or whatever, however you operate. And then you could have people look at your calendar that way. You can share calendars, so you can collaborate and have, if you have a community group calendar, that you might have a few people that contribute, and you can actually have, so you add who it is. So say if I'll just add one person here, pretend I could send stuff. I can actually say they can change events, they can make changes and manage it, or they can only see the event details, so you can control who that is. And then you'd send an invitation to them, but I'm not going to do that. So just cancel it because we're just doing a demo. Right, so lots more that you could add, and you can also integrate. You can embed and have a calendar sitting on a website. So if you had a group calendar, so you might have your business calendar with your information, or your community group calendar, and it sits on a web page. So lots behind that. So I don't want to get too complicated, but I have used it. It's been very effective. I've shared calendars. It's an awesome tool, but you really only need to go, keep things simple. And so you've got lots of calendars there, and I can turn them on and off and hide them from my own personal calendar as to what I see as a combination. So awesome tool. Don't forget that you've got your mobile phone that you can see it all, and this is when it really works, when you collaborate with the two. So if I'm out in meetings or various places, I can add my calendar or check my calendar on the spot because my phone's with me. I'm using the app. And then I can put more detail in the calendar when I want on my computer. So lots of different ways that you can maneuver, but they both synchronize instantly if you're on the internet. So super awesome. I highly recommend it. It's free, so a fantastic way to use and engage with your and plan your life. There you go, Google Calendar. We hope you enjoyed that episode of Live at Lunch. Check out recordings and future events on www.vivianevans.com.au and select the events tab, or you can choose to look at courses. Lots of options available on vivianevans.com.au.